We like to point out to investors that all asset classes are very cyclical in nature. So hedge funds, if you look at hedge fund performance over the long term, you should expect hedge funds to generate somewhere in the mid to high single digits. At least that's what they've historically done. We think going forward, given that we are in a low return environment for most major asset classes, returns in the mid single digits make sense. So competitive with what we would expect from both equities and bonds over the long term makes a lot of sense to us. But the second point is, if you look at the volatility characteristics of hedge funds, they typically have a third to a half the volatility of the equity markets. So anytime you can add a position to your portfolio that has a positive return expectancy and is lower in volatility, you minimize the drawdowns during periods of stress. So we like to point to that volatility aspect. Third, the fact that hedge funds tend to have lower betas and less correlation to both equities, credit, and you can even point to other asset classes such as commodities. We think when you can add a exposure to your portfolio that has low correlation, positive return expectancy, as well as low volatility, you put yourself in a pretty good position to compound capital at attractive and competitive levels of return over the long term. So we think hedge funds going forward make a lot of sense in a portfolio, given where how equities and bonds have traded over the last several years.
All investments are subject to risk, including the possible loss of the money you invest. For more information about Skybridge Capital Multi-Advisor Hedge Fund Portfolio Series G, call 1-888-759-2730 to obtain a prospectus. Investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and other important information about a fund are contained in the prospectus. Read and consider it carefully before investing. This webcast is for educational purposes only. We recommend that you consult a professional advisor about your individual situation.